I was on early duty that week, which meant I had the radio on before sunrise. Most mornings are quiet, routine patrols, maybe a fence break, sometimes nothing at all. That day was different. The call came from a farmer who lived near the edge of the reserve. His voice was unsteady, like he wasn't sure how to explain what he'd seen. "There's an elephant stuck," he said, "in the irrigation pit, and the small one it won't leave." That was enough for me to get moving. Within minutes I was out the door, still pulling on my jacket as I headed to the jeep. The road to that part of the reserve isn't paved. It's a mix of dirt and old tire tracks, and in the early morning it's often still damp with frost. I drove faster than I should have, but not fast enough to lose control. The sky was just starting to lighten, turning everything a dull gray. I kept thinking about what the farmer had said. Elephants do get stuck sometimes, especially near water pits dug for irrigation. The sides can collapse, or the mud becomes too soft to climb out. But the part that stayed with me was the calf. "They won't leave," he had said. I saw them before I reached the pit. The calf was pacing along the edge, making short, sharp sounds, high and distressed. It moved back and forth, stopping every few seconds to look down. I parked at a distance and approached on foot. The mother was in the pit, lying partly on her side. One of her legs was twisted beneath her, and the mud around her was deep and uneven. Every time she tried to push herself up, she sank further. She was exhausted. I didn't get too close at first. An injured elephant is unpredictable, and even a tired one can be dangerous if it feels threatened. I stood back and watched for a few minutes, trying to understand how she was stuck. The pit wasn't very wide, but the sides were steep. It looked like it had been dug recently, probably to collect water for crops. Overnight, the edges must have softened. She must have stepped too close and slipped. The calf came toward me once, then backed away, unsure. It didn't run. That told me everything I needed to know. I stepped back and called it in. "We've got an adult female stuck in a pit, possibly injured." I said, "Calf is present, staying close. We'll need a team." The response was immediate. They told me to hold position and keep a safe distance until backup arrived. That was easier said than done. The calf kept circling, making those sounds that stayed in your head. The mother responded sometimes, low and weak. It didn't feel like something that could wait. I knew the biggest risk wasn't just the mother's condition. It was the calf panicking. If it ran onto the road or into farmland, things could get worse quickly. So I stayed where I was, visible but not close, letting it get used to my presence. After a while, it stopped pacing quite as much. It still watched me, but it didn't retreat anymore. I spoke softly, more to keep myself steady than for any real effect. It was strange, standing there with a wild animal that didn't leave. The mother tried to stand again. She pushed with her front legs, straining, lifting herself just slightly before slipping back into the mud. The effort seemed to drain what little strength she had left. After that, she didn't try again for a long time. Her breathing was heavy, and her sides moved slowly. I started to worry that if we didn't act soon, she wouldn't make it. The team arrived about an hour later. 2 vehicles, a few rangers, and a vet. They brought ropes, tools, and a portable winch. We gathered quickly, going over what we could see. She stuck deep, one of the rangers said, and exhausted. The vet added, "We agreed on a plan clear part of the edge, create a slope, and assist her out with ropes if she could stand. It sounded simple, it rarely is. We started by digging. The soil was heavy and damp, and every shovel made the slope unstable. We worked carefully, trying not to collapse more of the edge onto her. The calf stayed nearby, watching everything. At one point it moved closer to the pit, making that same call again. The mother responded, lifting her head slightly. It was the first real movement we had seen in a while. After clearing enough space, we attached ropes around her body, carefully, keeping our distance as much as possible. The vet gave a light sedative to calm her, but not enough to keep her from trying to stand. Slow, he said. We go slow. We started pulling, gently at first. She responded, pushing with her legs, trying to rise. For a moment it looked like it might work. Then the ground shifted. She slipped back. We stopped immediately. Forcing it would only make things worse. The calf moved closer again, standing near the edge, watching. It didn't make a sound this time. It just stayed there. The vet checked the mother again. She's weak but still responsive, he said. That gave us a little more time. We adjusted the plan. Instead of pulling straight up, we focused on widening the slope further, making it easier for her to move forward. It took another hour. The sun was higher now, and the ground was starting to soften more. We worked faster, but carefully. No one spoke much. There wasn't much to say. When we tried again, it was different. We pulled steadily, and she pushed at the same time. This time her body shifted forward instead of down. Slowly, almost inch by inch, she began to climb. The calf moved alongside the edge, matching her movement. I remember holding my breath without realizing it. Then, finally, she reached the top. For a moment she just stood there, unsteady, covered in mud, breathing heavily. The ropes fell away, and we all stepped back. The calf came to her immediately, pressing against her side. She touched it gently with her trunk. We stayed still, giving them space. After a few minutes she took a step, then another. They didn't leave right away. The mother stood for a while as if gathering strength. Then, slowly, she began to walk toward the trees. The calf stayed close, never more than a step away. We watched until they disappeared into the brush. No one said much after that. We packed up quietly, loaded the tools, and left the pit as safe as we could. It wasn't a dramatic rescue. No one cheered. But as I drove back, I kept thinking about the calf, how it never ran, never left, even when it probably should have. Sometimes that's the only reason a rescue happens. Something stays,